Archangel Michael says, your profession is targeted, colleagues are envious, and it's affecting your future. There is a divine spotlight on your path, and it's burning brighter than ever before. You felt it in your spirit, haven't you? That strange heaviness when you walk into the room, that subtle pause in conversation when you arrive, that quiet energy of observation and judgment when all you want is peace. Your work, your excellence, your integrity, they were never meant to go unnoticed. But now, Archangel Michael reveals a heavier truth. Your profession is being spiritually targeted. And it is not because you have failed, it is because you have risen. The envy around you is not natural. It is not simply human. It is being stirred by forces that cannot comprehend your divine assignment. What you carry is too rare. What you create is too impactful. What you radiate is too sacred. And so, the war has begun, not with weapons, not with noise, but with whispers, sabotage, and secret alliances formed in shadows. There are meetings happening without your name, and yet they speak of you. There are documents moving behind closed doors, and your future is folded inside them. A colleague, once friendly, is now a vessel for quiet opposition. A supervisor, once neutral, is beginning to lean into narratives that were never yours to carry. And still, you rise. Still, you perform. Still, you try to convince yourself it's all in your mind. But Archangel Michael says it is not. There is a spiritual energy behind this, one that seeks to derail, delay, and distort your path. This energy does not come from your skill set. It comes for your mantle. It does not target what you do. It targets who you are becoming. It's not just your job at stake. It's your next dimension. This warning is not to strike fear. It is to release clarity. You are not alone. You are not unprotected. But you must act, and the time to act is now. You are stepping into a threshold season where every decision carries consequence. You cannot afford to overlook the signs. You cannot afford to shrink to fit in. Heaven has set a watch around your name, and Archangel Michael is drawing his sword, not to frighten you, but to guard what you are about to birth. There is a wind of exposure coming, and you must be spiritually anchored before it hits. The next 3 days are not ordinary. What you choose to ignore, heaven will confront. What you choose to avoid, destiny will force you to face. And what you choose to speak will set your future in motion. Take this moment seriously. The atmosphere is charged. Your next assignment depends on it. Archangel Michael says, your name is echoing through corridors of envy, and it's not by accident. Right now, at this very hour, forces have convened, both seen and unseen, to challenge the light you bring into dark spaces. This is not a metaphor. This is not symbolic. This is real. This is spiritual. And the time to spiritually anchor yourself is not tomorrow, not later tonight, but within the next 24 hours. Heaven's timetable has moved. The urgency you feel in your chest, the tightness in your spirit, is not anxiety. It is divine alarm. You were never called to fit in. You were born to be set apart. And because of that divine separation, you have become the focal point of envy, a projection of sabotage disguised as professionalism. Someone has marked your presence with resistance. They see you arriving early, staying late, creating excellence. But they also see your light. They also sense your favor. And that is what troubles them. Your presence disrupts their comfort. Your innovation threatens their tradition. Your rising unsettles their stagnancy. And so, they have chosen to act, not with honesty, but with strategic attacks laced with diplomacy. Someone is trying to reposition your reputation. They've whispered your name not to bless it, but to blemish it. And Archangel Michael says, enough. The shift has begun. The protection is already forming. But you must be aware. You must stop shrinking. You must stop over-explaining. And you must understand, this is not personal, it is spiritual. This very hour, a spiritual wall is being raised around you. A heavenly scroll has been opened, and your name has been found inside. That's why the resistance feels so strong. It's because your assignment is that divine. This moment is not here to break you. It is here to build your discernment. You are not under attack because you are weak. You are being watched because you are called. Let this be your wake-up call. Rise, shield yourself in light, and stop giving your peace to people who were never equipped to handle your purpose. Archangel Michael did not come to whisper. He comes to war. And the war has already begun. Type I receive divine shielding in the comments. Blessing code 717 is now activated over your name. You've been sensing something, haven't you? That pause in conversation when you enter the room. That subtle change in tone from someone who used to smile freely. That friendly colleague who suddenly feels distant, overly formal, cautious with their words as if rehearsed or filtered. It's not paranoia. It's perception. Archangel Michael says this disruption is not random. It is spiritual turbulence disguised as workplace routine. A conversation is happening behind your back. A misunderstanding is gaining traction. A whisper is being passed hand to hand, word to word, like wildfire through dry grass. And you, the target of it all, have been left wondering, what changed? What changed is this. Your favor has become their fear. What was once camaraderie is now comparison. What was once admiration has turned into subtle competition. A person you once trusted with details of your dreams is now questioning why you dream so boldly. They didn't expect you to rise this fast. They didn't expect your confidence to return. They didn't expect heaven to lift you after they quietly watched you fall. Someone thought they knew you, knew your limits, your weaknesses, your ceiling. But now they are witnessing something they can't explain. A resurgence, a glow-up, a rebirth. And because they can't understand it, they feel threatened by it. This is the emotional betrayal that heaven warned you about in whispers and dreams. You saw their name in a vision. You felt their energy shift when you mentioned your breakthrough. You noticed how they smiled less the more you succeeded. But still, you gave them grace. Still, you told yourself to forgive, to overlook, to be the bigger person. And that's good. That's divine. But now, Archangel Michael is drawing a line. You must discern between who is hurt and who is harmful. There is someone around you who is not just dealing with insecurity. They are deliberately feeding falsehoods into the space you occupy. Your silence has been misread as weakness. Your quietness has been mistaken for ignorance. And now, a group is forming, perhaps not officially, but spiritually. A circle of watchers, gossipers, underminers. People who resent that your name is spoken with favor in rooms they desperately want to enter. You've been invited to tables you didn't ask to sit at, and instead of celebrating your inclusion, they've chosen to question your qualifications. They whisper things like, "Who does she think she is? Why did he get chosen for that project? I heard they are trying to take over." But what they don't realize is this. They are not fighting against you. They are fighting against divine timing. They've uncovered something about you, but only a fragment. They've seen your efforts, your results, your professional blow. But they haven't seen your process. They haven't seen the nights you prayed for strength. They haven't seen the rejections you endured in silence. They haven't seen the tears behind your resilience. So they assume your success was sudden, your confidence unearned, your growth undeserved. But Archangel Michael says, let them misread you. Let them gossip. Let them assume. What's coming to you will not be decided by their words but by your alignment. And right now, that alignment is under pressure for a reason. Because you are close. This tension you feel, this emotional weight, this mental fog, is not just stress. It is spiritual interference. When envy cannot touch your skill, it attacks your spirit. When jealousy cannot ruin your work, it poisons your atmosphere. That's what's happening now. But hear this clearly. Their confusion does not cancel your calling. Their envy does not revoke your elevation. Their misinterpretation does not alter your mission. You are still rising, even if they try to dig a pit for your reputation. Archangel Michael reminds you, you are not their equal in the spirit. You are not called to appease their wounds. You are called to walk boldly in your purpose. Let them whisper. Let them guess. Let them fumble with fragments. Your truth is still unfolding. And no one can stop what heaven has already decreed over your life. Blessing code 1414 is released now. Type I see through the whispers if this message resonates. Let heaven mark your clarity. Archangel Michael wants you to see with new eyes now. Because what's coming against you isn't just personal. It's spiritual. It's not about promotions, positions, or professional opinions. This is about energy. This is about assignment. This is about anointing. The tension around you is not just discomfort from coworkers. It's the spiritual realm reacting violently to the light you carry. You are not being resisted because you're wrong. You are being resisted because you're right on time. The enemy does not waste warfare on someone who poses no threat. The battle you feel at work is confirmation. You are on holy ground, and your presence is disrupting darkness disguised as routine. This isn't about who likes you. This isn't about who claps for you. This is about who cannot stand to see you shine. And here's the truth Archangel Michael is releasing. You didn't even try to be seen. You weren't trying to impress. You were simply obeying your inner voice. You were simply showing up with diligence. You were simply honoring your assignment with consistency. And yet, even that has triggered a reaction. Why? Because spirits are stirred when divine appointments begin to manifest. There are powers and principalities that have ruled unchallenged in that atmosphere until you showed up, until your integrity walked in, until your excellence began to raise the standard, until your discernment started picking up what others pretend not to see. You have to understand, your presence is warfare, not because you speak loudly, but because your spirit carries a frequency heaven assigned. You walk in with light, and the shadows get restless. You speak truth, and manipulation starts to scatter. You choose clarity, and confusion begins to lose power. This is not coincidental. Archangel Michael says, the attack is not on your skill, it's on your spirit. The enemy is not after your role, it's after your revelation. Because once you fully step into the truth of who you are, nothing and no one will be able to dim you. What they say is not about you. It's about what you awaken in them. You awaken inadequacy in those who have settled for less. You awaken conviction in those who hide behind masks. You awaken hunger in those who stopped dreaming long ago. So they'll call you intimidating. They'll call you arrogant. They'll say you're too much. Don't shrink to make them comfortable. Because they're not reacting to your personality, they're reacting to your power. A power you didn't ask for. A power you didn't steal. A power you were born with. And heaven is saying now, stop apologizing for your mantle. Your workplace is a battlefield. Not because of deadlines, not because of deliverables, but because of destinies colliding. Your destiny is colliding with agendas. Your excellence is colliding with mediocrity. Your divine favor is colliding with hidden pride. And the friction is proof that you are called, not tolerated. You are anointed, not assigned by man. You are sent, not simply scheduled. And Archangel Michael stands at your side, not to shield you from discomfort, but to remind you who you are in the middle of it. You were never meant to fit in. You were sent to stand out. You were never meant to be part of the gossip circle. You were sent to disrupt it with silence and wisdom. You weren't meant to blend into culture. You were chosen to elevate it. So when the stares grow colder, when the words become sharper, when the air feels heavier, don't retreat. Rise in knowing. This is not personal. It is spiritual. They are not resisting you. They are resisting the light that follows you. And what follows you is divine. It cannot be canceled. It cannot be copied. It cannot be diluted. You are under divine protection. This isn't just about surviving work politics. This is about fulfilling your calling in a place that is beginning to buckle under the weight of your elevation. They feel the shift, even if they don't speak it. They sense your breakthrough, even if they deny it. And now, spiritual warfare has found its way into conference rooms, break rooms, and email threads. But it will not prosper. Why? Because you are not just a worker. You are a warrior. You are not just employed. You are empowered. Blessing code 888 has been activated for those called into places of conflict. Type "This is spiritual." I stand strong if your soul feels this in your bones. Let heaven record your alignment. Listen carefully. The war is no longer silent. The enemy has been whispering behind doors, and now they are preparing to step forward with a more public move. Archangel Michael warns, this is not just about rumors. This is not just about energy shifts or side glances. Something is being orchestrated. There is an intention, a plot, a professional confrontation, brewing that is meant to sabotage not only your peace, but your trajectory. Someone has been waiting for the right moment to pull a thread, to say the right phrase, to drop your name in the wrong tone, and that moment is near. You are not imagining this pressure. You are feeling what heaven sees, a spirit of confusion trying to entangle your progress. You've done nothing to provoke it, yet your success itself has become the provocation. A colleague, perhaps even someone you've trained, helped, or supported, has begun moving against you, not with bold attacks, but with twisted narratives and small misrepresentations. That meeting you weren't invited to. It was more than oversight. That email thread you were removed from. More than coincidence. That project suddenly reassigned without reason. It was a quiet signal. They are moving. And Archangel Michael says you must be still, but not blind. They may approach you. Soon. Perhaps not with outright confrontation, but with questions laced with sarcasm. With offers that are traps in disguise. With feedback that's actually rehearsed criticism meant to unsettle your confidence. Where they may bypass you entirely, speaking to superiors, to HR, to those with power over your position. They are speaking about you as if you are the problem, when truly, your excellence is their mirror, and it terrifies them. The enemy's tactic now is subtle subversion, not an explosion, a slow leak meant to drain your joy, a series of small miscommunications, a misplaced document, a forgotten credit on a team win, a quiet comment that plants doubt in someone else's mind about your leadership, your integrity, your consistency. You must not ignore this, but you must also not engage it with panic. Heaven is moving faster than they are. Their steps are calculated, but so is divine intervention. This is why Archangel Michael emphasizes, the next 72 hours will shape the atmosphere around you. You may feel pressure to defend yourself, to correct falsehoods, to clear your name. But hear this clearly. Heaven says do not run into the fire they've lit for you. It was never your job to fight with flesh. Your battle is not in words, it is in presence. Let your peace disarm their poison. Let your excellence speak louder than their accusations. Let your fruit testify where your voice cannot reach. Someone may send a message, an email, a text, a checking in conversation that's actually bait. Watch for tone. Watch for patterns. Watch for how they frame you when they think you aren't listening. Your words will reveal their assignment. And that assignment isn't just to upset you, it's to delay you. If they can distract you, they can disturb your alignment. If they can stir you, they can slow your rise. But you are being forewarned so you can stand firm. Heaven has already dispatched reinforcement. You are not walking into this moment alone. The whispers about your future will not override the words spoken over your destiny. Every lie they release is already being countered by truth. Every trap they set is being unraveled in the spirit. And every room they try to block you from, heaven will open double doors in response. Do not reply in haste. Do not rush to fix what isn't broken. Your character is intact. Your spirit is whole. And your future is not in their hands. It never was. The next few hours are a test of emotional mastery, spiritual discernment, and divine trust. Will you react from fear or respond from faith? Archangel Michael says, if they rise with manipulation, you rise with stillness. If they speak falsehoods, let heaven speak favor. If they conspire in secret, let your purpose remain public. They have made their plan, but heaven has already written your outcome. Blessing code 3344 is your shield. Type I will not be moved if you receive this alert. Your stillness is now activated as a divine strategy. Now that the plot is clear, the temptation will be strong to confront, to clarify, to correct. But Archangel Michael urges you to resist the urge to react. This isn't a moment for your flesh to speak. This is a moment for your spirit to stand. Your strength will not be found in retaliation. Your power will not be proven through explanation. Your protection will not be earned by begging for fairness. Heaven is already responding. The host of angels has already encircled your name. The weapon that has been formed against your career, your name, your progress, it has already failed in the realm that matters most. This is your divine instruction now. Stay grounded. Do not pace. Do not panic. Do not pour your energy into exposing what heaven is already dismantling. You are under divine surveillance. You are being watched, not just by those who envy, but by the Spirit who defends. The same God who lifted you is not done lifting. The same Spirit who whispered this warning is already working behind the scenes. You must trust that divine justice is faster, stronger, and far more complete than human revenge. There are moments in life where silence is not weakness, it is strategy. This is one of those moments. Archangel Michael says, let your silence be your strength. Let your stillness be a shockwave in the spirit. Let your calm become the very thing that unsettles their storm. You don't need to correct their lies. They are crumbling on their own. You don't need to answer their shade. The truth is rising through the atmosphere and settling on the right ears. What you need to do now is protect your peace like a fortress. Because the enemy doesn't just want your role. He wants your rest. Preserve your energy. Guard your heart. Withdraw from unnecessary meetings, pointless debates, and low-vibration conversations. Someone may even try to provoke you deliberately, press your buttons, corner you into emotional expression, bait you into saying something regrettable. Don't fall for it. Heaven is watching how you handle this moment. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. Every spiritual promotion comes with a test, and this one is about emotional maturity, prophetic patience, and inner alignment. If you've been thinking about quitting, wait. If you've been thinking about confronting them, pause. If you've been praying for vindication, trust. It's already underway. Do not rush ahead of divine timing. You will miss the full weight of the breakthrough if you leave the storm too early. Sometimes the only thing you are meant to do is stand still and allow God to fight the war without your interference. Archangel Michael stands with his sword drawn not for your destruction, but for your deliverance. Remember, heaven defends what it deposits. You didn't place this mantle on yourself. You didn't force your way into these opportunities. You were chosen, appointed, sent. And what is sent by God cannot be silenced by gossip. It cannot be suspended by lies. It cannot be slowed by sabotage. But you can disqualify your next if you abandon your posture. So hold the line. Fasten your peace to your chest like armor. Let wisdom guide every reply. Let discernment lead every step. This is your spiritual assignment in this moment. Stay grounded in truth, not triggered by noise. Pray instead of panicking. Rest instead of retaliating. Meditate instead of magnifying their drama. Speak only when led, not when pressured. Your stillness is sending a message. I'm not afraid of your plans, because I know who holds mine. Let this be known. No lie formed against you can survive the fire of God's truth. No manipulation can override your mantle. No campaign of sabotage can cancel divine order. But if you fight in your own strength, you may lose sight of what was meant to come to you with ease. Heaven is not just protecting your job. It's protecting your alignment with purpose. Stay low in ego. Stay high in spirit. Stay planted in obedience. This is your defensive strategy. Do less. Trust more. Rest deeper. Rise quieter. And let God speak louder through your peace than you ever could with your words. Blessing code 2929 is now wrapping around you. Type "My stillness is my weapon" if you receive this strategy. Watch how heaven responds when you do less and believe more. Something is shifting. You may not see it fully, but your spirit has already begun to feel it. But prayer was not punishment, that with preparation. Attention wasn't to break you. It was heaven's way of forging something within you that no human approval could ever produce. Authority. Divine authority. The kind of authority that is birthed in silence, grown in fire, and revealed through fruit. And now, Archangel Michael says, the tables are turning. I'm whispered. They watch. They've waited for your breakdown. But now, what they see is something they didn't expect. You are still standing. You are still blowing. You are still walking in truth, with clarity in your eyes and grace in your posture. That's not because you're pretending everything is fine. It's because you've tapped into a deeper stream of strength. one not found in your resume, or your connections, or your work ethic, but in your spirit. You are not just recovering from their attacks, you are rising through them. They tried to shrink you, but their pressure expanded you. They tried to corner you, but their betrayal redirected you. They thought they could limit your future by poisoning your present, but what they didn't know is that heaven uses adversity as transportation. You are no longer who they thought you were, and they are beginning to see it. Their accusations no longer stick. Their strategies no longer work. Your influence over others is beginning to crumble, and your presence, your calm, your grace under fire, it's speaking volumes that they cannot silence. This is the power of spiritual endurance. Not only did you outlast the attack, you outgrew it. You have emerged with sharper discernment, deeper self-respect, and a cleaner connection to your divine calling. And that's why their energy now feels smaller, because your spirit has expanded. You are stepping into a season where you will begin to feel the lift. The heaviness will lessen. The confusion will clear. The fog around your reputation will fade, because your integrity is beginning to shine through in undeniable ways. It was never about getting even. It was about rising above. And now, that rising is unfolding. There will be new opportunities that they cannot block. Doors will open that don't require their approval. People of power will begin to see the truth, not because you said anything, but because God revealed it. Your excellence is beginning to pierce through every attempt to blur your name. And as it does, your enemies will be forced to watch as the very story they tried to write gets reauthored by heaven itself. They can't touch what God has sealed. They can't undo what God has decreed. You are a walking declaration that favor frustrates the insecure. And instead of begging for belonging in circles that secretly reject you, you're being elevated into rooms you didn't even know existed. Your silence will be interpreted as strength. Your restraint as leadership. Your peace as evidence that you are not just a professional. You are prophetic. This is not the end of your story. This is the ascension chapter. You will walk back into those spaces, not with vengeance, but with victory in your eyes. You won't need to say a word. Your presence will speak louder than their rumors ever could. The very ones who tried to dismiss you will be forced to witness you flourish. And some of them will even need your help in seasons to come. Heaven has a way of reversing the flow. Those who rejected you will remember you when favor turns its face. Archangel Michael says, you didn't just survive. You transcended. You didn't just endure. You evolved. Now walk boldly, knowing you are becoming what they said you could never be. You are a storm survivor. And from the ashes of their gossip, you rise radiant. Blessing code 1212 is now opening a divine reversal. Type I am rising through this if you claim your elevation. Let the heavens see your agreement. Let your enemies witness your glow. You've walked through the fire, and not only did you not burn, you came out shining brighter. The season that tried to break you has revealed you. Every lie that was told, every look of dismissal, every backroom meeting meant to diminish your voice has now been absorbed into the divine plan. And Archangel Michael declares, the shift is now complete. What was once warfare is now becoming witness. The very thing that came to distract and deter you will now confirm your direction. You were never off path. You were simply walking through the part of your story that heaven reserved for proof. Proof that character outweighs chaos. Proof that silence can speak louder than slander. Proof that stillness is not weakness, it's wisdom wrapped in divine timing. A revelation is forming. Someone who once believed the lies will come forward. A door that once seemed sealed will swing open effortlessly. A supervisor, a client, a higher-up is beginning to question the narrative they were fed, and the truth is pressing on their heart with urgency. Heaven is bringing clarity where confusion once reigned. People will begin to see you again, not through the lens of gossip or jealousy, but through the eyes of divine insight. And what they see will silence every false word that has ever been spoken about you. Archangel Michael whispers, the final veil is lifting. The sabotage failed. The smear campaign has lost its momentum. The trap that was laid has collapsed. You are not only protected, you are about to be promoted. Not just in position, but in visibility, in influence, in honor. This is divine recompense. The reward for not lowering your standards, not retaliating, not conforming to the environment around you. You held your peace, and now peace is returning to you multiplied. There will be a reversal, but not one you have to manufacture. It will come quietly, supernaturally, divinely timed. That colleague who tried to discredit you, they will disqualify themselves, exposing their bitterness in a moment of ego or error. A leader who doubted you, they'll circle back with apology in their eyes and confusion in their heart, wondering how they misread you for so long. And you won't even feel the need to say I told you so, because your elevation will speak louder than your ego ever could. This is the final test before your transformation. Not a test of work ethic, but a test of character. Heaven is watching. Can you receive blessing without boasting? Can you walk into favor without flaunting? Can you return to those spaces, not with revenge, but with renewed vision and grace? If you can, then what's next is bigger than anything you've imagined. Opportunities you didn't apply for, clients you didn't chase, projects you didn't even know existed. The divine spotlight is being redirected toward your name, not because you fought for it, but because you were faithful during the storm. That's what the envious never understood. You weren't performing for attention. You were aligned with purpose. You weren't campaigning for influence. You were carrying out assignment. And now, heaven is making that distinction known publicly. You're about to hear news that restores your joy. An email, a conversation, a contact, a shift. Something that was once withheld will be released. Something delayed will move forward. Something buried will be unearthed. And when it does, it will not only vindicate you, it will reward you. This is your spiritual return on emotional endurance. This is your harvest from the seeds you sowed in silence. Peace will return in unexpected ways. Clarity will come through unlikely people. A sense of security will settle into your soul where anxiety once tried to build a home. You are safe now. You are free now. You are chosen still. Nothing they did changed that. Nothing they said stopped that. Nothing they plotted disrupted that. The plan of God remained intact, and now you're stepping into the unveiling. Archangel Michael closes this section with power. The weapons were real, but so was your resilience. And now, the reward must be released. Blessing code 5656 is opening the gates of recompense. Type the battle is over. I receive my breakthrough if you feel this moment in your spirit. Watch the atmosphere shift. Heaven is aligning the final pieces. Now is the moment to respond. Not to your enemies, but to your elevation. Not to the drama, but to the destiny. Archangel Michael says the shift cannot fully unlock until you say yes in your spirit. Until you mark this message in the atmosphere with intention. The prophetic had been spoken, but prophecy always waits for permission. That permission comes from your agreement. And agreement is not passive. It is not silent. It is active, declarative, and intentional. You've heard the warning. You've received the insight. You've watched the pattern unfold, spiritually and emotionally. But now, the divine court is listening for your voice. What will you say in this moment? Will you declare truth over your future? Will you open your mouth to shift the air around your name? Will you activate what heaven has already promised? Because your silence in the spirit now would delay what's already being dispatched. This is not superstition. This is spiritual protocol. Heaven honors movement, not stagnation. Destiny requires a dance partner, and your agreement is the first step. When you type it, speak it, declare it, something opens. The gates move. The atmosphere bends. And Archangel Michael responds. Because heaven is not looking for perfection, it's looking for participation. Right now, wherever you are, take a breath. Feel the confirmation in your gut. You didn't just stumble across this message. You were drawn into it. Because something in you is waking up. Something in your spirit is rising, refusing to let the sabotage have the final say. You've been quiet long enough. You've endured long enough. You've observed and withheld and waited. But now, it's time to respond with power. Say this out loud or write it with full spiritual weight. I will not be delayed. I will not be manipulated. I agree with heaven. My name is protected. My purpose is activated. My workplace is covered. My future is unfolding. I stand under divine law. No weapon will prosper. No lie will stand. I am sealed by God, and I move forward in truth. Let that be your weapon. Let that be your war cry. Every time you feel doubt creeping back in, say it again. Every time fear whispers through your chest, say it again. Every time someone tries to rattle your confidence, say it again. Because declarations create amendments. What you say in faith becomes your force field in the spirit. This is also your moment to write it publicly, not for performance, but for prophecy. When you type it, you mark the timeline. You open a gate. You register your agreement in a dimension where angels record every movement. This is where action meets atmosphere. Don't miss the window. Heaven is poised. Your angels are waiting. The moment is now. Type in the comments, I receive divine alignment. My future is sealed. The war is over. Not as a chant, as a contract. Because once you declare it, heaven dispatches it. Once you affirm it, the resistance loses legal access. Once you stand in it, what was blocked gets unlocked. Archangel Michael says your name is being re-announced in the spirit. A new frequency is being assigned to you. One of favor. One of clarity. One of divine momentum. But your agreement is the final piece. You are not helpless. You are not forgotten. You are not outnumbered. You are being summoned into higher rank. This is why the jealousy erupted. This is why the conflict intensified. Because heaven was preparing to mark you in front of the same people who misjudge your presence. And now, that divine spotlight is turning. But you must step into it boldly. So say it. Write it. Declare it. Don't just scroll away. Seal this moment. Heaven moves where faith stands tall. You are not repeating positive affirmations, you are releasing spiritual legalities. You are commanding what is already yours. Blessing code 7777 is now tied to your tongue. Type I agree with heaven. My purpose cannot be stopped if your spirit is ready to shift from survival to divine success. This is not the end. It is the ignition. Take a moment. Let your spirit breathe. Let your shoulders relax and your chest open again. The storm may have swirled, the whispers may have pierced, and the silence around you may have felt like abandonment. But through it all, you remained. And that alone is evidence that something stronger was always holding you, guiding you, covering you. This wasn't just about your profession. This was about your identity. And Archangel Michael now declares with finality, you're not a victim. You are the revelation. They tried to minimize you, but they couldn't. They tried to twist your motives, but truth stood taller. They tried to wear you down with slow warfare, paper cuts of gossip, exclusion, and subtle shade. But they didn't realize they were sharpening you. While they plotted in petness, you were being prepared in power. While they studied how to sabotage, heaven was scripting how to elevate. And now that elevation has already begun to unfold, not because you demanded it, but because you withstood what others would have folded under. Let this sink in. You were never weak. You were wise. You were never behind. You were being hidden until the right time. You were never forgotten. You were being reserved for something greater. This storm around your profession was not punishment. It was positioning. It pushed you deeper into faith, sharper in discernment, clearer in identity. And that's why you don't look like what you've been through. That's why you're still rising. That's why your glow can't be dimmed, even when they avoid your name in the room. Because you were never shaped by their recognition. You were sculpted in silence by the hand of God. And now, the atmosphere is shifting in your favor. It's not just spiritual, it's practical. Unexpected clarity is about to arrive. Misunderstandings are about to dissolve. Delayed opportunities are circling back. And people who doubted you are beginning to remember your value. But here's what's different now. You are not the same. You've outgrown the need to be seen. You no longer crave validation from those who couldn't value you the first time. You're not returning for applause, you're moving forward in purpose. You don't need to explain. You don't need to defend. You don't need to prove. Because now, you know, what is meant for you flows toward you with ease when you stop chasing approval and start aligning with truth. Archangel Michael speaks this final seal over your life. You are light in human form. They tried to cover you, but heaven uncovered you first. They tried to break you, but they only revealed your brilliance. They underestimated your quiet, but your stillness became your sword. Now go forward, not as someone who survived, but as someone who was sent. This is your closing affirmation. Say it aloud. Feel it. Receive it. I am not defined by envy. I am not shaped by sabotage. I am not held back by falsehoods. I am rising. I am protected. I am aligned. I am free. I walk in favor. I speak with clarity. I live in truth. And nothing, no weapon, no whisper, no shadow, can stop what heaven has placed upon me. Let them whisper. Let them plot. Let them misunderstand. Still you rise. And when you rise, you don't rise to be petty. You rise to be prophetic. When you shine, you don't shine to make them jealous. You shine because you're chosen. When you speak, you don't speak to defend. You speak to declare. And here's the final truth. You are not who they assumed. You are who God anointed. So go. Stand tall in your lane. Take up full space in your purpose. Speak with the grace of heaven and the boldness of your calling. Because you are not waiting for permission anymore. You are moving in divine possession. Blessing code 9009 is now complete. Type I am the revelation. I walk in power to seal this prophetic message. The storm has passed. The clarity is here. Your season has shifted. Let them watch your light rise.